The revolt of 1857 witnessed the rise of some strong leaders who became national heroes later. Bahadur Shah, Bhagat Khan, Nana Sahib, Tatya Top, Begum Hasrat Mahal, Jhansi Rani and Kunwar Singh were some of them. Let's get to know about these leaders one by one. One of the important leaders of the revolt was Bahadur Shah II. He was the last Mughal emperor. After his father, he ascended the Mughal throne at the age of 62 in 1837. When he came to the throne in 1837, the Mughal Empire had already reduced to Delhi and its surroundings. But Bahadur Shah II was respected by the company and they provided him with a pension. He was also a calligrapher, notable poet, and a Sufi saint. His father was Akbar Shah II. His mother Lal Bai was a Hindu Rajput princess. Because of mixed parentage, always he acted like a man of religious tolerance and valued Hindu-Muslim unity. It seems that Bahadur Shah II didn't have much interest in statecraft or any imperial ambition. After the revolt broke out, when the rebelling Sepoys approached him in Delhi on the morning of May 11, 1857, he was reluctant to lead them. After much persuasion only, he had accepted to become the leader of the revolt. Bahadur Shah II was proclaimed as Shahanshah-e-Hindustan, that is, ruler of India by the Sepoys. In Delhi, a court of administrators was established, coins were minted, and orders were issued in the name of Mughal emperor. But he was only a symbolic head. The real authority was rested with the Sepoys. He was too old to provide an effective leadership. He didn't have a vision and a plan for the future. Within months, Delhi was captured by the British Army under the able leadership of John Nicholson. Bahadur Shah II was taken as a prisoner and convicted. With the fear that descendants of Bahadur Shah in future might challenge the British authority, they decided to deport the royal family to a distant place and keep them under surveillance. Along with his family, he was deported to Rangoon, that is present-day Burma, which was under British control at that time. In Rangoon, his life was reduced to misery, even though his interest in poetry never faded away. He spent his days in Rangoon writing ghazals, a form of Urdu poetry. In Rangoon, he was banned from using pen or paper, but he is said to have written in charcoal on the walls that confined him. Let me tell a ghazal he penned during his days in exile. How do I explain the unfulfilled desires inside me? Who will listen to my problems? If your heart was pure and clean, I would talk to you. However, your heart is full of impertinence. While I do have regrets, whom do I explain them to? It beautifully expresses the painful loneliness of the poet king Bahadur Shah II. Finally, he faced death in 1862 at the age of 87. Like other Mughal emperors, he is said to be a direct descendant of Mughal rulers such as Genghis Khan and Taimur. With his death, one of the world's greatest dynasties came to an end. Rohilkhand region was ruled by a Nawab. Their capital was Bareilly. Within days, the news of the outbreak, which started at Meerut, reached Bareilly. Here the people rose in revolt under the leadership of Khan Bahadur Khan. They occupied the East India Company's treasury and burnt the records of Kotwali, that is police station. Khan Bahadur Khan formed his own government in Bareilly. He was a grandson of Hafiz Rahmat Khan, the former ruler of Rohilkhand. After his death, he was living on a pension granted by the British, but he was not too enthusiastic about this. Once the revolt broke out, he assumed the administration and issued silver coins as an independent ruler. He organized an army of 40,000 soldiers and Bhagat Khan was chosen to lead these soldiers at Bareilly. Bhagat Khan was a Subedar in the East India Company's army, a veteran of the First Anglo-Afghan War with almost 40 years of experience in the Bengal Horse Artillery. Bhagat Khan held the highest post an Indian could get in the British Indian Army. Bhagat Khan was at Bareilly with his troops when the Sepoy Mutiny broke out. At the beginning, he was not willing to join the rebellion and chose to be loyal to the British. A religious leader insisted him to join the rebellion and fight the British. Bhagat Khan then joined with Khan Bahadur Khan to revolt against the British. After they tasted success by toppling the administration of East India Company in Bareilly, he was sent by Khan Bahadur Khan to Delhi to support Mughal king Bahadur Shah II. When he arrived in Delhi, Bahadur Shah's son, Crown Prince Mirza Mughal, was appointed as the commander of the Mughal forces. But his lack of military experience was a hindrance. Within days of his arrival, Bhagat Khan's superior leadership and military knowledge was clearly evident, so the emperor later appointed him as the commander-in-chief. He demonstrated great statesmanship in his mission. However, the jealous members of the royal family and the selfish traders misguided Bahadur Shah against Bhagat Khan. As he understood the situation, Bhagat Khan voluntarily gave up his position as the commander-in-chief. Later, he fought several battles against the East India Company forces with his own troops. Finally, when the defeat of Delhi had become inevitable, Bhagat Khan left Delhi and reached Awadh. Begum Hasrat Mahal was the leader of the Awadh region during 1857. Along with her, he fought against the British forces. When Awadh's capital, Lucknow, was seized, he retreated to the Nepal hills along with Begum Hasrat Mahal. From there, Bhagat Khan started his own efforts to fight back against the British force. Because of the non-cooperation of the Nepal ruler, he could not succeed. Nana Sahib was the famous Maratha leader of the 1857 revolt. When his parents visited the court of last Peshwa Bajirao II, he was adopted by the ruler. In Kanpur, East India Company had a large military establishment. To keep him under surveillance, the East India Company kept Bajirao II at a place called Bittur near Kanpur. When the Peshwa Bajirao II died in 1851, the East India Company stopped the annual pension and the title. Since Nana Sahib was an adopted son, it was not provided to him. Nana Sahib's appeal to the Court of Directors was not accepted. This made him hostile towards the British rulers. When the revolt broke out, he assumed leadership of the Sipais in Kanpur. After seizing Kanpur, Nana Sahib proclaimed himself the Peshwa and acknowledged Bahadur Shah as the Emperor of India. After capturing Kanpur, Nana Sahib let loose massacre on the British civilians, one time due to confusion and another for retaliation for the killings of Indians. It became infamously popular, and Remember Kanpur became a war cry for the British to muster its force and unleash violence on the Indian side. Within months, Kanpur was recaptured by the forces led by British General Havelock and the Commander-in-Chief Colin Campbell. Nana Sahib lost most of his forces. He fled to Nepal, where he soon disappeared. Without any military experience before the rebellion, the court official who outfoxed the British many times was Tatya Tope. Tatya Tope was born as Ramachandra Panduranga Yavalekar in a village in the Maratha Dominion. Tatya was a childhood name and Tope was a moniker he earned as a young official in Nana Sahib's estate. Tatya Tope was at the forefront with Nana Sahib when the rebellion erupted in 1857. In his battles, Tatya Tope displayed natural skill in military affairs. With comparatively lean resources, he inflicted significant damage. He displayed skill in understanding enemy maneuvers and launching counter moves. When the rebellion in the north failed, he didn't give up. In January 1858, the Rani of Jhansi launched her rebellion. Tatya Tope helped Rani of Jhansi in her resistance against the British. Rani Lakshmi Bai was killed during this battle. Even after Jhansi Rani's death, he organized a small but highly mobile force and drew the British into a cat and mouse game all across central India. He adopted guerrilla tactics and avoided open battle. He mobilized popular support in many regions and convinced some minor chieftains to support the rebellion. Tatya Tope soon possessed a 15,000 strong force. The British sent expeditions to capture Tatya, who always dodged them and inflicted losses to the British. Contemporary authors and even press reports in London noted the astonishing efficacy and speed of Tatya Tope. The end came when a close comrade betrayed Tatya Tope in return for amnesty and restoration of his lands and titles. He was ambushed and captured on the month of April 1859. Tatya Top was taken to a military court. Later, he was publicly hanged in Shivpuri. Her real name was Muhammadi Khanum. She was born in a poor family. She started her career as maid. Later, she elevated as the leader of all courtesans. After that, she entered into a temporary marriage with Nawab of Awadh, Wajid Ali Shah. When she gave birth to a son, Birjis Qadir, with the Nawab, she was named as Begum Hasrat Mahal. In 1856, the East India Company annexed Awadh under the doctrine of lapse and placed under a chief commissioner. Wajid Ali Shah was imprisoned and then exiled by the company to Calcutta. Begum Hasrat Mahal, along with her 12-year-old son Birjis Qadir, were left behind. Begum Hasrat Mahal ruled the region of Awadh and declared her son as the Nawab and took charge of administration and strategy herself. Despite formal orders from Queen Victoria to officially transfer Awadh to the East India Company, Begum Hasrat Mahal not only issued a counter proclamation refusing to do, also she united the population of Awadh to launch of a peasants in uniform military rebellion in Awadh. She openly revolted against the British, criticizing them for their lack of religious freedom. Begum Hasrat Mahal even raised an army of women and fought the British. Finally, under the leadership of Colin Campbell, the Awadh was recaptured. The Begum was forced to run into exile in Nepal. Jhansi was an independent princely state under the control of British India. It was ruled by Maratha Nevalkar dynasty from 1804 to 1853. The British authorities took over the state under the terms of the doctrine of lapse. Jhansi Rani, born in Varanasi as Manikarnika Tambe. She lost her mother at the very young age of 4 and was raised by her father, who worked in the court of the Peshwa of Bittur. The Peshwa raised her like his own daughter. Manikarnika learnt horseback riding, fencing and shooting. She also received education which was extremely rare for women in those times. She married the Maharaja of Jhansi, Raja Gangadhar Rao, following which she was rechristened as Rani Lakshmi Bai in honor of Goddess Lakshmi on her wedding day. Following the marriage, she gave birth to her son, who died within 4 months. The couple then adopted the son of the Maharaja's cousin, whom they named Damodar Rao. After the death of the Maharaja, the British refused to acknowledge Damodar Rao as the legal heir to the throne of Jhansi, citing the doctrine of lapse. In 1854, Lakshmi Bai was given a pension of 60,000 rupees and ordered to leave the palace and the fort. She appealed to a court in London, which discarded her case. When Sir Hugh Grose demanded the complete surrender of Jhansi, Rani refused it and issued a proclamation. We fight for independence. In the words of Lord Krishna, we will, if we are victorious, enjoy the fruits of victory. If defeated and killed on the field of battle, we shall surely earn eternal glory and salvation. She defended Jhansi against British troops when Sir Hugh Grose besieged Jhansi on 1858. Jhansi Rani sent appeals for help to Tatya Top. An army of more than 20,000 headed by Tatya Top was sent to relieve Jhansi, but they failed to do so when they fought the British. Rani and Tatya Top fled to Gwalior, which was on the British side. Tatya Top persuaded Gwalior soldiers to defect and her ruler fled. The rebels regrouped in this strong fort, but this rebel confederacy was defeated by a massive British attack on Gwalior in June 1858. The British captured the city of Gwalior after 3 days. The Rani of Jhansi died on the field of battle on June 17, 1858. In the British report of this battle, Hugh Grose commented that Rani Lakshmi Bai is the most dangerous of all Indian leaders and a man among mutineers. Arra in Bihar witnessed an able leader named Kunwar Singh during the revolt of 1857. He was the chief organizer of the fight against the British in Bihar. He is popularly known as Veer Kunwar Singh. Kunwar Singh was born to a Maharaja of Jagdishpur of the Shahabad district in the state of Bihar. He belonged to the Ujjainiya Rajput clan. After his father's death in 1826, Kunwar Singh became the Talukdar of Jagdishpur. At the age of 80, he led a select band of armed soldiers against the East India Company. Despite of his old age, he remained invincible until the end. He was an expert in the art of guerrilla warfare. His tactics left the British puzzled. In a battle, bullets fired by the company's army injured Singh's left wrist. To prevent additional risk of infection due to the bullet shot, it is said that he drew his sword and cut off his left hand near the elbow and offered it to the Ganges. In his last battle, fought on April 23, 1858, near Jagdishpur, the troops under the control of the East India Company were completely routed. Even with injuries, he drove away the British army, brought down the British flag from Jagdishpur fort and hoisted his flag. After this incident, within few days, he died in his palace.